And we are back as the 2023 recruiting cycle is wrapping up. We got to get into 2024, and you guys got to learn these recruits as they start to come out. Today, I am joined by Casey Poe. Casey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Doing really good. Just had a nice chill day. We're on a break from school, so got to relax, work out a little bit, take my time in the day.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. High school was 7 years ago for me, and I don't miss a single day of it. I loved the breaks. I love not being off, and quite honestly, I love the workforce a little more. Just it's a little bit more interactive, not sitting in class doing schoolwork. But I get it; it's important. You got to get it done. So
We gotta do what
what?
we gotta do.
Yeah. So let's start it off with fun questions. Do some icebreakers here.
All right.
Do you like pineapple on pizza?
No, I'm not a fan of pineapple on pizza. That texture, pizza and pineapple don't go together. There's a texture difference. There's a taste difference. Two completely different worlds should never meet.
So, what's your favorite type of pizza?
Oh, okay, classic pepperoni or like the 5-6 meat people put together. As much meat as you can put on it. I'm a big guy, got a lot of meat on me, like a lot of meat on the pizza.
Yeah. So, do you like the New York style, Chicago style, regular American pizza?
I just like regular American, to be honest. I've never been up to like have actual authentic New York pizza or anything like that. So I just kind of like whatever I'm given. If I tried it, I might like it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's very different in terms of like having the deep dish and stuff like that. So you get a little bit more crust in there. But yeah, I mean, listen, there's some crazy people out there that do some crazy things with pizza. At our state fair this year, they put pickles on pizza, and I was like, that just is disgusting.
That's not that's like a pickle ice cream. That should never enter anybody's body.
It's not right. It's not right. I'm just convinced that some pregnant lady was the one that ended up coming up with that because I have never heard pickles on ice cream until I talked to a pregnant lady and she was like, "I eat pickles, like literally dip my pickles in ice cream," and I'm like, "That is literally disgusting."
That's revolting. I could never imagine that.
So, well, let's go ahead and just let everybody learn a little bit more about you. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself. What position you play in football? Tell us a little more about a little bit more about your family and where you're from.
Yeah, so I play left guard and left tackle at Lindale High School here in Texas. It's just a small school in East Texas. We're Class 4A. My family, my dad works in insurance. My mom's a fourth grade teacher, which bless her heart, I could never imagine being a teacher. That is a hectic ride for her. But yeah, we're a nice small family. I have a brother that just went off to trade school. He's gonna be a lineman. So you're coming up soon with all the snow and stuff. Hopefully, for Texas. I like cold weather. I love the snow. So hopefully he can go out and fix some power lines for us. That'll be fun.
All right, so then I got to ask, if you like cold weather and you like the snow, have you put any thought about going to play high or college football at any of the schools where you know it's going to snow potentially 2 or 3 times a year?
I mean, I've thought about it. I've always wanted to play in a snow game, like a rainy game when it's cold and it can cool me off, and I can just like not have to worry about sweat pouring off me all the time. It's definitely crossed my mind. It sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, especially when like you see these NFL games and everything. You don't see it happen in college very much with the
Not as
snow
much.
game.
Not as
But
much.
I think Western Michigan had a pretty good game this year where they were in a pretty heavy snow, and that was fun to watch. And I can't imagine. I bet it's harder to play in the snow, especially if it starts to get deep and you're having to pick up your feet out of
Oh,
that snow.
you're just
So
slipping and sliding around. Your fingers always being cold, but I don't know. I want to try it. See
yeah.
how it goes.
So as a football player, how in the world do you guys go out there and play in the cold weather and without like pants on? Because I see some of these guys go out there in just their shorts and they got no long sleeves, and I'm just like, how?
Man, that's me. Like if I go out and play, I don't care if it's 100 degrees or if it's 2 degrees. I'm gonna be just pads and pants. That's all I need. Pads, pants, a helmet to play. But for me, it's just kind of like once you get through the warm up, the initial cold hits you. You have so much adrenaline going through. Your body's moving. You think about so many things. The cold never really hits you until after the game, and then it's a good feeling because you just like you won the game. You know you played your best, and you can cool off.
That's yeah. It takes a different breed of people to do that. Because I mean, I walk out of my house and it's 35 degrees, and I'm like, I gotta go put on the coat. Potentially got to put on a beanie. It's too cold.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. So Yeah, so tell us a little about where you're from in your high school, and just what it's like to play high school football.
Yeah, so I'm from a small town. We used to be a lot smaller. We're growing now. We finally got a Chick-fil-A about a year ago, and that was like a highlight for everybody in Lindale that we actually got a Chick-fil-A. But we're a real small town. We're a close-knit community. Everybody knows everybody, which is probably one of my favorite things about Lindale, just kind of being close to everybody. You can trust everybody around here. You can honestly leave your front door unlocked and you know no one's going to walk in and take anything because you're a small town. You know everybody knows everybody. You take something of mine, I'm probably going to see it later on down the road. But as far as my high school, we are now a 4A. We're one of the top, like the larger 4As. We're kind of near in 5A. We've skipped around a couple of years, like skipped back and forth between 4 and 5A. But it's a great high school. We have one of the best learning systems there is in Texas. We've been rated like an A+ school or however the rating works for the past however many years. We get UIL awards. So it's really good. It's a big compliment to our superintendent, Stan Surratt, and all of our teachers in Lindale that just showed like the hard work and the dedication they put in to pour into us students and to be able to see it play out. As far as high school football, it's the most fun thing I've ever done. Like it's a family. You get to build bonds in the locker room and on the field, and just in my everyday life, I've made so many close friends that I'll have for the rest of my life because of football, and it's given me a lot of opportunities in life, which I'm very thankful for. But it's fun. You get to crack jokes with people. You get to hit people and it be legal, and just like everyone on a football field is almost always smiling. It's always just a great time. We have fun doing it, and I'm super blessed to be able to play the sport.
Yeah, so this is something I like to ask all of the Texas recruits that we have on. Um, you hear of the rivalries between Texas high school football, Florida high school football. I don't even think California football really can compare,
No.
but they somehow for some reason they like to compare themselves.
Yeah,
Do you think
they're over
Texas high
there.
school football is the most elite?
Oh, for sure. Texas high school football, you can look and see the amount of NFL and college athletes that Texas produces and all the people that want to come and recruit Texas. And it's without a doubt the hardest to play in and the most energizing playing is everyone in Texas loves football. And so every Friday night, it's a stands are packed, people are flowing in, the best competitions on the field that you'll find anywhere in America.
Yeah, so you're talking about how everybody wants to come in and recruit the state of Texas. Has there been anybody from any big schools that have came to visit you yet, and have any of them stood out over another one?
No one's really stood out. Like everyone right now in this process, you kind of got to keep a clear playing field, a clear head, so you can really see and evaluate each school for what they are and what they have to offer. But as far as big names, I know we had Alabama in the building, we've had Auburn in the building, Nebraska, we've had A&M, TCU. I was talking to Coach Ricker just a couple weeks ago, and he was getting ready for his bowl game. We've had Texas Tech, Baylor, we've had Oklahoma in the building. We've had so many great schools come in and recruit, and that's just an awesome experience.
Yeah, and what's it like being recruited by some of those elite coaches, whether it's Bill Beatonbow from Oklahoma or Holman Wiggins at, I believe it's Holman Wiggins at Alabama. What's it like being recruited by some of those big time guys, having them come to your school and watch you play?
It's great. It's a great feeling. It's Coach Wolford now for the O-line for Alabama, but just having them come in and like as a kid, I used to sit in front of my TV on Saturdays and watch all these guys coach and watch them play and watch everything about college football. Because I grew up in a football family, so if there's any time where football could be on, it was going to be on our TV. And being able to see that and then grow up and actually be able to meet these guys and have the opportunity to do what they do, it's a wild experience. It's crazy. It's something that I've always hoped to do and wish I would do, but I was never sure if it would get to this level. But it's really cool that it has, and it's a great feeling for me that it has.
Yeah. So have you had a chance to take any like official visits or any unofficial visits anywhere?
I haven't taken any official. I'm looking to take those this summer, hopefully, to get that process started. But as far as unofficial, I went to a couple games this year. I went down to the Iron Bowl for Alabama and Auburn. I was at the Red River Showdown for Oklahoma. I went to a Baylor game, a Texas Tech game, a TCU game, and I got to see a lot of different places, a lot of different atmospheres, and a lot of different stadiums. It was really cool.
Yeah, well, you can just throw that Red River Showdown game out. That was
Woo!
not a normal game, and that won't happen again. So
That one was an interesting game to say the least.
yeah, so going into I'm actually interested in this. So you were at that game, you see Oklahoma get blown out 49-0. Surely there was some thought into like, okay, this isn't normal. This isn't a normal thing. Like, was there any like negative like? I'm just definitely like not interested in them now, or was it like, okay, like that's not normal? They had a lot of things going on, you know.
Oh
What
no,
was
not
that?
at all. Like to me, it's football. Anything can happen. Like they could have easily went out and got up 49-0, or they could have came out and did what they did and got blown out 49-0. It's football. It happens. And to me, it's definitely not a thing of like, oh, one bad game is going to influence my decision on you. It's seeing how the coaching staff and the players and the culture can bounce back from that, because there's a lot to learn from a big blowout game like that. Like everyone just sees a loss for a loss, but if you can be a team that takes a loss and builds it and let it mold you into something great, that is a team that I'll definitely be taking into high consideration, because that's something not a lot of teams and people can do.
Yeah, and what was that atmosphere like at the Red? I've never been yet. I'm planning on going next year. I've been trying to get to go for the past couple of years. It just never pans out. So you've been to Iron Bowl, you've been to the Red River Showdown, you've been to some of the other ones. What has been the best rivalry atmosphere that you've been to?
Oh, definitely Auburn, Alabama. I got to say that it was one of those games where like you're sitting there and the fourth quarter is ticking down, and you're thinking to yourself like, man, I wish there was like a fifth quarter. I keep wanting to watch this game, because like no matter what the score was, people were yelling at each other. The bands were playing over each other. The Alabama had the stadium lights where they could like flicker and play to whatever like color they wanted to. And so just like the whole atmosphere of everyone just loving to be there and loving football and just really wanting to watch and participate and be excited for their team, no matter what the score was really, really cool.
Yeah, and the game was at Bryant Denny Stadium this year in Tuscaloosa, so you got to see some of the rich traditions that Alabama had together, and of course, their version of Dixieland Delight, which everybody loves that version. That's the one that yeah, I can't wait for OU to get to the SEC so that I can go and experience a game at Bryant Denny Stadium. Hopefully, Nick Saban's still there by the time I can make it out there. But
I hope
yeah,
it's something you really got to see. You really got to watch. You got to watch him coach. He's great at it.
yeah. Did you get to meet Nick Saban or any of these coaches at all?
I did. I was able to meet him. It was a brief meeting. He came in after the game, shook his hand, talked to him about our season a little bit, and then just keep moving on. There's so many recruits there. He only has a certain amount of time before he wants to get back with his family and just relax after the game. But before the game, I got to meet a majority of the offensive staff. They offered me right, like almost as soon as I got on campus, I got to go to Coach Wolford's office, the O-line coach, shake his hand. He offered me there, and they kind of took me on a little tour, introduced me to different coaches here and there, and so I got to meet a good majority of them.
That's awesome. That's such a cool design. I love asking these kind of questions about the recruitment because it's something that a normal person like I and many others are not going to be able to experience. So it's great to be able to hear those experiences from your guys' viewpoints. But going out and visiting these schools, talking to the coaches, what are some of the biggest things that you're looking for in order to find a college home?
Just really, to me, it's about how much they care about people, like the relationships that they can build within their own team, and how much their culture is set up is a big deal for me. Because if I go and look at a school and it's very obvious that they don't love each other and no one really trusts each other and they don't want to be there, I'm not going to want to pick that school. I want to pick the school where everyone's going to have each other's back. If someone is faltering, they're going to be held accountable to the standards, not only by the coaches, but also by the players. And so just like, how are the coaches treating the players, how the coaches treating each other. And like I said, whenever something goes wrong, like a big loss like Oklahoma had, how can they bounce back and get better and grow from that as a family?
Interesting. It's an interesting way of putting it, an interesting way of looking at it. So love to hear it. Question about a little bit more about your recruitment. Have you had a bad recruiting experience yet?
I really haven't. Like every recruiting experience is a good recruiting experience. Like I can always grow and I can learn no matter what happens. So no, I wouldn't say I've had a bad recruiting experience.
So have you had one though that was like, have you had a funny moment during your recruiting experience where somebody was just like, they cracked you up a little bit, or they did something?
Um, Oh, there was one time. So I went down for the Texas Tech spring, like the spring game they had last season. I was down there, and it was the first time I really got to meet the coaching staff, and I got to meet Coach Hamby, their O-line coach, and he's a cool dude. Me and my mom and dad were standing there, and he says something, a word that a lot of coaches say and a lot of players say, but my mom necessarily didn't want it being thrown around. And so I hear him say it, and I turn to look at mom, and I looked at my dad, and I was like, hey, make sure she knows, like, it's okay. Like, don't go yell at Coach Hamby, please. So I was just making sure Mama wasn't getting upset for the words she heard. That was pretty funny.
That's okay. I'm sure you'll. That's a good one, but I'm sure you'll get some more. And I'm sure you'll get one of those ones. We were talking to actually a current player at OU. He was talking about how during one of his recruiting visits, they literally told him that he wasn't going to get to play.
Really?
They were just recruiting him for depth, and I'm like, now that does not seem like a good recruiting pitch. I don't know if that's something I don't know if that's something I'd throw out there to a player. So
I'm not sure that's something I would say right off the bat, but it's each their own.
Yeah, I guess to each his own. Hey, at least they were honest. At least they were honest. Told the kid where he was going to stack up with the other guys that they had in that locker room. So, well, let's kind of just dive into a little bit more about you. So, what are some of your favorite hobbies outside of football?
Outside of football, I really like to fish. It's always been something that me and my dad used to do. My grandfather used to do. We used to go out on the lake all the time and just fish a lot. I like working out in general, like not just sports specific stuff, just staying fit, staying healthy, and working out's fun. And honestly, just hanging out with friends and family. And I like being around people. I like being around people who enjoy being around me.
And then you said you like to fish. Mm-hmm. What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
7.2-pound largemouth bass. Woo! Lakes out here. It was a funny story too, because I was a younger kid. My brother was older than me, so he thought he knew everything in the world, and I thought he didn't know anything. And so we're out fishing. I wasn't catching anything. He says, hey, tie this on real quick. Just try it. And he hands me the pole that he just tied the bait on. And he hadn't caught anything all day either. And I just pitch it out under a dock, and I pull up the biggest bass I've ever caught in my life. And he was like, dude, I pretty much caught that bass for you. And I was like, no, you didn't. I did that on my own. You didn't do anything.
Hey, you know what? People are always going to be trying to take credit for those kind of things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so do you have like any specific type of music that you like to listen to or anything that pregame that kind of just gets you in the mental mindset to go out there and play?
Not really. I just kind of listen to whatever everybody else is playing. There'll be different things that, like, sometimes rock gets me going, sometimes rap. Not as much rap. It's got to be something upbeat that like picks me up. I don't want to hear anything like sad and depressing before I play. Like, I want something to really like get me going, get my blood boiling, ready to go fight for a good full game.
So no Adele is what you're saying.
Adele. I listened to Adele before I threw in the state track meet. And I ended up placing first of that. So I guess there's something to her.
All right. Yeah, I guess there's something there if you're able to listen to Adele before you go out there. Hey, she's got some hype songs. She can get a little in there, like maybe Rolling in the Deep a little bit.
That was one. It is actually one that I listened to. It got me going, I'm telling you. Try her out.
Hey, listen, she's got a strong voice. She's got a strong, powerful voice, so she can kind of get that progression going without those instruments just because of how strong her voice is.
For sure. Hits you right in the soul. Gets you going.
Yeah, actually, we went and got dinner with my aunt last night, and we were talking about some of the, like, we're all going through our favorite concerts that we've ever been to. She actually said Adele, which I was actually really shocked about that Adele was her favorite. So,
I would like to go to an Adele concert. I wouldn't mind that.
Oh, I would go too. It just shocked me that out of all the concerts she's ever been to, it was Adele that was the best. But so, what's your favorite movie? Do you have a favorite movie? Do you have a top 3?
Remember the Titans all the way. That is a great movie. It's one of the all-time classics. My family can almost quote that movie word for word.
That is a great movie. That is great. I think I watched that movie not too long ago. I work from home, and so, you know, I'm about to oust myself right here, but sometimes I got to pull up something in the background just to have a little background noise. So sometimes I turn on the TV shows or the movies and have something a little in the background. So yeah, that's a great movie.
It's a really good one.
What's your biggest motivation for going out there, playing football week in, week out, and ultimately trying to up your game to the next level?
Um, Honestly, the guys that motivate me are the guys that are around me every day. Like the teammates that I have, I know that no matter how hard I work, someone's gonna work equally as hard right beside me. And I know I can really like if I take a playoff, I'm gonna let one of them down. We've trained so hard together, we've done so much together, we have so much trust built into our program with our coaching staffs and our players that I know that like if I'm going to play as hard as I can, it's not only playing for me, it's playing for my teammates, it's playing for my coaches, it's playing for my talent, it's playing for everyone who's trusted in me. And so that just gives me the motivation. Like if I'm tired on a 3rd and 10 and I know it's a long ways to go, I can look to my left and right, see my guys there beside me and think like, hey, they're working hard too. They're tired. We can go get this done together.
All right. And I got to ask about this because this is such an interesting thing happening in college football right now. But Deion Sanders to Colorado, completely changing college football. You got a lot of kids that are all of a sudden just wanting to follow him out there. What's your thoughts about Deion Sanders to Colorado?
I mean, it was a great opportunity from him. He went from a smaller school to a bigger, more well-known school, so obviously he'll get his name out there more. I think it was a good decision for him. Some people don't like it because they say that he was supposed to stay at Jackson State and just do whatever. But I think it was a great move for him. I think he gets to move up in the world, show himself as a coach, and yeah, he's bringing a lot of players in. A lot of players are going to follow the hype, and right now he's bringing the hype. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does next year, see how he can build on all of this. But he's a really good coach, a really smart player. Um, really brings like the hype to the team, like all his team meetings. He has walk-up music, and he has his what do you say? His very valuable luggage, his Louis luggage. So we'll see what he can be able to do with that.
Yeah, his very valuable Louis luggage, and yeah, he's got a lot of players looking to follow him. I think in 2024, in your class alone, he's got the #1 cornerback and the #1 safety, both looking to potentially land in Boulder. So it's going to be interesting to see what that man could do over the next couple of years throughout college football at Colorado.
Yeah, he's gonna have some talent with him.
Oh, he's going to have a lot of talent there. So getting into college doesn't matter what team you commit to. Is there any team that you want to play against when you get into college?
That I want to play against.
Yes. Whether it's in a
Um,
bowl game, whether it's in a conference game, out of conference, is there a game or a bowl or anything you specifically want to play in?
that I want to play. Well, of course, I want to play in the national championship one day. I think like just I've watched it every year. I've watched teams come in and out of it. Just watching that confetti rain down and seeing how happy those guys are and all their hard work paid off. That's I think that's the end goal for a lot of people. That's definitely a goal for me is to play in the biggest stage in college football.
Hey, you love to hear it. You love to hear the winning mentality. So, as we go ahead and start to wrap it up, is there anything that you want to say to the people that are watching this and trying to learn a little bit more about you as a 2024 recruit?
Um, I don't know. I really like playing football. I appreciate everybody that's following me. It really means a lot to me that people don't realize all the little things. Like every time I get a comment under one of my Twitter posts or something like that, or somebody just telling me something, it may not seem like a lot of things, like a big deal to them, but it means a lot to me because it means somebody's seeing what I've done, seeing how hard I've worked, and someone's noticing that, and it pays off. So that really does mean a lot more than most people realize. To just hear the little like, "Hey, you're doing great," or "Hey, come play for our school," because that means somebody wants me, somebody's seen how hard I worked and see how hard my coaching staff and my teammates have poured into me, and that comes to fruition whenever somebody notices that. So that feels really good.
Awesome. That's so cool. So, all right, guys. Well, if you haven't already, go ahead and go follow Casey on Twitter and follow his journey and his recruiting journey. He doesn't have a top list of schools out yet, but listen, we're hitting the 2024 cycle, and I'm sure that will be coming down here pretty soon as he starts to take visits and everything starts to narrow down those decisions. So follow him, follow that journey. And if you guys haven't already, please go ahead, hit the like and the subscribe button. Let us know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Hey, if you got a question for Casey, put it down in the comments. Jump on Twitter, tweet him, tweet at him. I'm sure he'll get you. So,
oh yeah, I'll get to it.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys later.